everyone. Welcome to our second edition of District 15's live Facebook chat. I'm Morgan Delac, the Chief Communication Officer for District 15, and I'm really happy to see everyone online today. We hope you'll continue to join us as we do these live chats throughout the weeks. So we have a very interesting topic to discuss this morning, which is second language learners in District 15. And many people are surprised to hear that more than 70 languages are spoken by District 15 families. The most widely spoken language other than English is Spanish, and followed by Polish, Korean, Japanese, and Telegu. So District 15 offers a very wide range of services for these students whose home language is not English, including self-contained bilingual classrooms, as well as English as second language instruction. So as a reminder of how today's talk will go, please ask questions on the Facebook feed and we'll be able to answer them live on the air at the end of our show after we've interviewed some of our guests. So we hope this will be a very interactive communications tool for our stakeholders to ask questions of us, and we can provide some on-the-spot answers to you. So today, I want to bring up some special guests that we have. I'm joined today by Dr. Cheryl Wolfel, who is the Executive Director of Second Languages in District 15. Hi, Cheryl. How are you today?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Cheryl. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the diversity in District 15 for people who aren't aware of how diverse our district really is?
Right. And Morgan, you're exactly correct. We have over 70 languages, actually 77, the latest count, spoken in the district. And of those languages, we have 30 staff members that are able to interpret 30 of those languages. So that also shows a little bit of the diversity of our staff. We are approximately 27% second language learners identified. However, the district is 60% minority. So that's to qualify for the program, our ESL and bilingual teachers give an assessment that's state required, and the children qualify. And once they qualify, then they either qualify for either bilingual services or ESL services. Right now, we're offering bilingual classes in the Spanish, Japanese, Polish, and Telegu, and Bulgarian. And a lot of people feel that they think they may know our most diverse schools, but in reality, our most diverse schools would be Willow Bend and Hunting Ridge, where they have over 40 languages spoken in those schools.
Wow. So I think, when you say bilingual instruction, that may be a little bit confusing to people who are used to maybe dual language programming, which is more intended for students who are English speakers to learn a foreign language. Can you explain to us what bilingual instruction is in self-contained settings?
Exactly. And that's a very good question. We actually have one-way dual language, and what that means for our Spanish speakers. We have approximately 800 children in grades K through 2 that qualify and need bilingual services, Spanish to English. We run the biliteracy model, which means they get Spanish and English from day one. So, and up until third grade, then it switches more to English instruction and less Spanish instruction, but we continue that Spanish instruction all the way to 8th grade in content areas. Our K2 classrooms, and you're going to hear from one of our classrooms very soon, they offer, the children learn Spanish literacy first, and then they add an ELD block starting in kindergarten for 45 minutes. Then in first and second grade, that ELD block goes up to 60 minutes. So they are actually, as opposed to a dual language program where you have monolingual children in the classroom along with children learning English. So it's not a 50-50 model for, in our bilingual classrooms. That's why it's called one way, because we don't have English speakers. We only have children learning English that are already Spanish speakers. So that's the major difference in a dual language and a one-way dual, which is what we run.
Okay. And if they don't qualify for a self-contained program, that maybe they speak a language that isn't as widely spoken as some of the others, what services are offered to students in those cases?
We have ESL, English as a Second Language services, in every building in District 15. So they may qualify for those services. It depends on the population. The district runs a student assignment staffing of 30 approximately 30 children to one staff member for ESL. And so the staff members, and we're also going to hear from one of our ESL sites and the teachers will talk how they are able to instruct children who don't speak English, and they may not speak that language. But they're able to instruct them so that they can learn English and become on par with their native English speakers.
And that's a difficult job. I'm excited to hear from these teachers in a moment, but teaching a student who doesn't speak the language that you speak is quite challenging, but we have very trained professional staff members who are quite successful in getting these students up to speed with English proficiency, which is exciting. I think it's something to celebrate here in our district that we do have this diversity.
Very much so.
Instruct them so effectively. So Cheryl, you've organized for some of your staff members to join us today to see what it's really like inside of the classrooms of these different schools who have bilingual and ESL instruction. So we're going to come into Winston Campus Elementary School. We're going to bring them up to speed right now. Cheryl, do you want to let us know who will be on the broadcast with us?
Right. We're going to be visiting Winston Campus Elementary, and we have Sari Ortiz and Amy Petit, right? Amy just recently got married, so
Amy Petit, yes.
Oh, Pettit. Okay, Amy Pettit. So we are at Winston Campus Elementary in a 1-2 multi-age classroom. And I'm excited for Amy and Sari to share not only their students, but exactly what's going on over at Winston.
Well, thank you for joining us today, guys. We're excited to have you.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us again, so you are in a 1-2 classroom, is that right?
Yes.
So what does that mean for someone who's not familiar with that terminology?
So a 1-2 multi-age means that we have both first and second grade students in our classroom. So for example, this year I have 9 second graders and 9 first graders. And it's a really amazing model because you get to follow the kids for 2 years. And the second graders become leaders and they love helping the first graders. And you really see an amazing amount of growth and get to know the students and their families really well.
So for those of us who aren't really familiar with the instruction that occurs in a bilingual classroom, can you explain how English and Spanish are taught and what the ratios are, how you do that?
So we use both Spanish and English to meet the needs of all of our students. We use Spanish during our literacy block because all the research shows that teaching in their native language first is going to help them become biliterate and bilingual better, which is our overall goal. So we have guided reading, and all of our literacy is in Spanish. And then as Cheryl mentioned earlier, we also do an hour of English language development. So we have a bunch of really fun, engaging strategies that we can use, such as interactive read-alouds. And then if we're working on a strategy such as compare and contrast, you can use some books in Spanish and interactive read-alouds, and then also during the ELD, you can work on that same skill, compare and contrast, but with an English interactive read-aloud. Another important strategy that we use is the dictado, which in English is dictation, and we use that both in Spanish and English, and that relates to our science and social studies content. And we'll say a paragraph, or for the first grader, sometimes a couple of sentences, and they need to repeat us, and then we really compare and contrast the two languages, and we'll look for cognates, which are words that are similar in both Spanish and English. And then we'll study things such as, in English, the months and the days of the week are capitalized, but in Spanish, they're not. So they're really pulling all of their skills and both of their languages together during that time.
I also teach the math and Spanish right now to our first graders, and teaching math and Spanish really helps the kids build up a strong foundation with their math talk and be able to use that math language with one another. I also use a lot of TPR, which is total physical response, where students are able to use one of the key vocabulary in math that is able to transfer over to when they go over to Mrs. Pettit, to Amy, and they're able to transfer and use that vocabulary now in English.
Great. So tell me, is it difficult for you you have the students all day, you're with them all day, you're able to engage your students. How do you work with their parents to get them to understand what's happening in the classroom? And sometimes there is a little bit of a cultural difference to figure out how they'd like to be engaged with and what to do. So tell us how you work on that with parents.
So that's one of our favorite things to do, is to really get to know the families and involve the parents and everything that we're doing here at Winston. So for the past 4 years, our third grade bilingual teacher and I, Chrissy Treitler, we've been running a Latino Family Literacy Night program every fall. This year we have about 10 families coming consistently every Thursday night. It's an 8-week program for 2 hours each week. And we also have 2 fantastic childcare teachers who are also bilingual. And they take the kids into a separate room to work on thematic activities and reading really fun books all around a theme. And then Christy and I work with the parents. We start with a bilingual book and we read it together. And we talk about different literacy strategies they can use to teach that book at home. They get to take it home for the whole week. And after that, every week we try to focus on a different topic. So tomorrow night, or tonight actually, Thursday, the librarian is coming from Palatine Public Library, and she's going to talk about how to use the library for community resources and also sign up families who don't yet have a library card. And after that, we move into some English language learning for the parents, and they really loved that opportunity to have some free English classes from Christy and I. And we ask them, what do you want to work on? Do you need help speaking with your boss at work? And we teach them different vocabulary words or different grammar things that they're interested in working on in English. At the end of the night, we have a delicious dinner. We all take turns providing a dinner to share together, and then we end the night with a raffle for a couple of books that the kids can take home and add to their family library. So it's really fun.
This is also the second year that Winston campus, our bilingual teachers, have started using our bilingual family nights, and we invite all our bilingual families to come and in a more fun setting to do seasonal crafts. We teach them different academic games that they can do at home. Also showing them how to do read alouds with their little ones at home. So this is our second year, and we've really seen that a lot of families enjoy this because it's a way for them to be involved in school and more of a less stressful setting.
Well, I hear some students' voices in the background, so I imagine there are some students of yours in the room with you. Would you mind putting some of your students on so we can take a peek at how they're doing today?
Yes, of course. So we'll call up some of our students. They want to share their favorite thing about Winston, and then we can actually turn the laptop to show what everyone else is doing right now, quietly reading to self with their bilingual books. So let's have Sebastian come on up first, and you can take my seat, Sebastian. And tell us your favorite thing about Winston campus.
My favorite thing about Winston campus are the teachers because they do very fun things with the students.
Wow, well, we love hearing from your teachers. So what are you doing today in school?
Reading.
And do you feel that you've learned English very well from your teachers so far? Yeah. What do your parents think about it? What do they think about school?
They teach us math.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining us today. We hope you have a great day of school, and we appreciate you being on our live feed. I do have a question here for your teachers, too, that came in. So we can bring another student up here, and while he's getting situated, we can ask one of the questions that we have. The question is, do the teachers have to translate all of the materials themselves?
We actually do not translate materials. We teach our curriculum in the language, either Spanish or in English, and our district is really great to provide us great materials in each curriculum, and so we don't have to translate. That's actually one thing that is a false thing, a myth that we do in bilingual teaching. A lot of people think that we have to teach a lesson in Spanish and then translate the exact same lesson in English. We actually really want to teach our students to be biliterate, and that means writing and reading and speaking in both languages. And so we just have to use the curriculum that we use in Spanish or in English, and then it'll transfer over, or we do different activities to incorporate the other language.
Great, thank you. So who do we have with us now on the broadcast?
Want to tell them your name?
David.
Hi.
Nice.
Tell us about what you think about going to school and learning different languages.
I think it's fun.
It's fun?
Yeah.
So Dr. Wolfel, do you have any questions to ask our students here?
I'm reading
Bad Kitty, is it?
Bad Kitty. I'm in page 86.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us at our broadcast today. Maybe we'll have your teachers come sit down again and you can go back to class for a moment. Thank you for being here. All right. Well, thank you to our Winston campus team. Thanks for being here today. We'll come back to you at the end of our broadcast to have some questions directed to you so you can answer them as they come in live. But now we're going to transition to our another second language program. So we'll see you guys in just a moment, but we'll have a chat with Cheryl now as we transition. So Cheryl, we have another language program that is the ESL program. Can you explain what that is? Okay, so Cheryl, I'm hearing that, I don't know why, but people aren't able to hear you so well right now. Maybe that's the case, but we're going to bring Karen up and hopefully people can hear Karen more clearly. So Karen is, as Cheryl mentioned, is at Willow Bend, one of our most diverse schools in the district with many different languages spoken. So hello, Karen, how are you today?
Good morning.
Good morning. So you're over at Willow Bend. Tell us about the population of Willow Bend and the services that you provide to students.
Well, we have about 600 students here at Willow Bend, and we have about 2/3 of our students who speak a second language in the home. However, only about 200 of those students require ESL services. We are an extremely diverse school with about 40 different languages spoken throughout our building.
Wow. So when they come to you,
Yes.
what do you do to provide them services? It's different from what we just saw in the self-contained bilingual program. So what are you doing to provide services to these students?
We try very hard to make sure that we go into the classrooms to support our students. We use lots of we use lots of visuals, and we do actions to help them understand the vocabulary and give them the survival skills that they need in order to survive in the classroom and in our school. From there, we decide what their levels are in their English language, and then we customize lessons to them while supporting our teachers. We try to give our teachers resources so that when we are not available in the classrooms, they can have resources in which to help those second language students in their class.
And how long do they stay with you? You sort of go into the classrooms. They don't come to you necessarily. So explain that dynamic.
We co-teach quite often. All six of us co-teach with teachers, regular ed teachers. We are normally in the classrooms anywhere between 20 to 40 minutes at a time. And we go in during any subject area. We do everything from our ELA, which would be our literacy block, to our science and social studies. We even support math. It's a variety depending on the student needs and the teacher and what the teacher needs from us as well.
Got it. Okay. So I asked this of our bilingual teachers as well, but how do you engage the families? It's a little bit different than engaging the English speaking families, I would imagine. So tell me what you do to involve them in the school process.
Well, when we do have orientation night in the fall, we do try to make sure we're available for any of our second language parents who have questions about the services. We also try to, a lot of our students come from International Village. So last year we were able to go to International Village, to their clubhouse, and we were able to have a parent night there. We also have a diversity night where we have parents come here and share their culture. And we also encourage them to join our PTA, and we invite the parents to come into our classrooms and help us reading, not just in English, but in other languages.
Well, that's great. And you feel like this is pretty effective in getting them involved, and you see some positive feedback from parents when doing this?
Yes, we do. We have some great parents who try their best to be active in our school.
That's great. So shifting gears a little bit, can you describe a current project in your school where our English language learner students are involved?
Our students are involved in all sorts of peer tutoring and our mix it up lunches, where in our lunchrooms, everybody is sitting in different places so that they can share the different types of cultures and the different types of lunches and food that people bring to our school. We also have some great resources that the district provides us in order to assist in all of our languages.
Great. So do you also have some students with you today?
I certainly do. I have about 6 different students with me today. However, they can all be together in a group. The students come from a variety of different backgrounds and different languages, and they are very excited to be here today.
Well, why don't you bring a couple of students on with you?
I certainly will. Hold on one moment, please.
Okay, great.
Yeah, sit right here. Come on, guys. Yahtzee.
Hi, guys. We're so excited to have you today. There might be a bit of an echo for you in the audience right now. So I'm going to ask you to maybe plug in her headphones again so we can ask the students questions.
Okay, I'm plugged in.
Do is I'll ask some questions, or maybe you can ask questions of your students that you think that this community would like to hear. So why don't you go ahead and ask them some questions about their experience at Willow Bend?
So what do you guys like best about Willow Bend and learning the English language? Yahtzee?
What I like about Willow Bend is the teachers helping and in making children improve in their language and in English.
Okay. Harshita?
Each and every day they learn something new, and every day, like new learning skills on math and English.
Alex, did you want to say something?
This is what I like about Willow Bend. Teachers keep us safe, and I learn something new every day.
Wow, I love that comment.
I like the PBIS celebrations.
The PBIS celebrations?
I like that there's no bullying.
Then there's no bullying here at Willow Bend.
Well, that is fantastic to hear. Why don't you ask them, for those that are watching, what language was their first language, and what language did they come in knowing?
Okay. Harshita, what was your first language? What do you speak at home?
I speak at home in Tamil.
In Tamil? Yahtzee?
Telegu.
Telegu? Alex?
Romanian.
Romanian?
Polish.
Polish?
Japanese.
And Japanese.
Wow, and did any of these students know English at all before coming to you?
Some of them had limited English. Most of them have like some basic words, but our wonderful Japanese student, she didn't know any words in English when she came. And now she is very well in English. She speaks very well in English.
Wow, it's very impressive to see this. I think for people like myself, who I only know one language, so to hear you all speak so well in 2 languages is very impressive, and it's a testament to your efforts in school and your teachers who are doing such a great job instructing you in both English and in your native language. So it's so wonderful to hear this. Do you have anything else to add about your experience at Willow Bend before we start to take some questions from our Facebook audience?
Anything else you'd like to say? No? I think they're all a little shy today.
You did a great job, so thank you. So why don't you guys, Karen, why don't you stay on the line? Okay. I'm going to bring back Amy into the broadcast in their classroom over at Winston campus. It appears that she has some students that are ready to go here in the classroom. So hi guys, your classroom looks great. We're so excited to see all of you here. We have a question here that maybe the students can't answer, but the teachers certainly could answer is, when do students stop receiving bilingual services? So what happens? They go through the system, they learn English. At what point do they no longer need the services?
So they start in kindergarten with bilingual all the way through here. We're so lucky to have third grade transitional bilingual, and then fourth through eighth grade, as Cheryl mentioned earlier, they have an hour of native language content in their science or social studies. So it's a really wonderful way for them to become fully bilingual and biliterate. And then every January, every English language learner is required to take the access test. And then we analyze the data from that assessment in order to determine when they are ready to stop receiving ESL services.
Oh, great. Thank you. So we have Cheryl back with us. Before, there was a problem hearing and seeing Cheryl. So if there are any issues with that, please type them in the comments so I'm aware. But Cheryl, some of these questions I think would be best for you to answer. So we have a question. Is it difficult to find teachers who are fluent in languages like Telegu and Japanese? Yes. Well, you've done a great job recruiting teachers so far, so it's great to see. Oh, I'm seeing that Cheryl, we're not able to see you. So I'm going to bring you down. We're going to have some tech support come and support you, Cheryl. So we're going to bring Karen back into the broadcast to perhaps help us with some of these other questions too. So now we're back with our Winston campus and Willow Bend groups. I see that Winston campus, your students are here. Would they like to say anything to us while they're here?
Yes, actually, we're going to bring up Victoria. Come on up, Victoria, and tell us the best thing about Winston campus.
The best thing about Winston Campus Elementary is the classrooms because they are amazing. They have clean bathrooms.
Can you repeat that a little bit louder for us because it was difficult to hear you?
The best thing about Winston Campus Elementary is the classrooms because they have clean bathrooms. They have clean bathrooms, calendar, and fun centers and fun stories.
Wow, so you really enjoy coming there then?
Yes.
And how much English did you know before you started in school?
And kindergarten. You know me? A little bit.
A little bit? Well, you're doing a great job, so thank you for being here with us.
And we also have Brianna,
Oh, great.
who's going to tell us her favorite thing about Winston using your big teacher voice.
The best thing about Winston Campus Elementary art because you can have fun, you can paint and color and do fun art.
We had a hard time hearing that, so teachers, could you repeat what she said?
Yeah, she said that the best thing
About Winston Campus Elementary is art because we can do a lot of fun art stuff.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Brianna.
Thank you.
Good job.
So I have a question that's really best answered by Cheryl. So we're going to bring Cheryl back up here in just a second to see if he's able to answer some of these questions. We have a question that is, some schools are teaching second language to all students and starting in elementary school. Is that something that has been considered? My son is in first grade and is very interested in learning a second language. Maybe a program that pairs a student who speaks a different language with one that speaks English. So we're going to see now if Cheryl is visible. If we cannot see Cheryl, well, she's being covered by the graphic right now, but you can see Cheryl.
Okay.
Please let us know in the comments if you're seeing and hearing Cheryl once again. If someone wouldn't mind just saying, yes, we see her, I will know for sure that she's on the screen and she can answer this question about really a dual language program. So Cheryl, why don't you give us an update about this, where we are on
Right. Abby, that's a very timely question, because one of the board goals is to explore the development of a dual language program for 2018. So, and I think that's what you're referring to, is that children that don't speak a second language combined with children that do speak a second language, so they all become bilingual, bicultural. So we are definitely in conversations with some consultants that are coming in November to have them do some site explorations and help us kind of get started on that road through a dual language program at maybe one or two of our sites. So we're looking forward to that. In the meantime, we do have some schools that are offering Spanish classes during the lunchtime after school. So hopefully your daughter will be able to get in one of those classes if it's offered at your school.
Great. So someone is echoing a little bit. So if we all have headphones in, I'm not quite sure what the problem is, and I'm sorry for that brief echo. But if you have any more questions, guys in the audience, now is the time to put them out there. We have a few more minutes to be live with you with our teachers and administrators. We're talking about second language in District 15. So last questions, please send them in. I see a lot of people that are watching us. Thank you for being here today. If I don't get any questions while we're live, if you'd like to ask them later on, we'd be happy to answer them. You will be able to view this video archived later on, so you can watch and see, ask questions, and we'll get back to you in a timely manner. So it doesn't appear that any more questions are coming in at this time. You know, Cheryl, I'm going to bring you down so we can see the kids one last time before we come out of our broadcast. So we're going to bring back our students from Winston campus once again. And Karen, if you have any students that would like to say goodbye to our crowd, we want to bring them in. If they've gone, that's all right. But we see the Winston campus crowd is saying goodbye to us, and we're really happy that you were with us today. We hope to see you guys again soon. So Karen, thank you for being with us. The Winston campus group, thank you for being with us. And Cheryl, thanks for being here. We hope you enjoyed the conversation today about second language learning in District 15. We will do this every week, a different topic, the live chat on Facebook. And if you have any suggestions for future conversations that you may be interested in, please let us know. We have not scheduled a specific time and date each week yet because we'd like to know what works best for you. So if you recall, last week we tried out a Monday at lunchtime. Today we are trying out Thursday morning. So if there's another time or date that works best for you to watch us, let us know and we'll try to fit that in. And if you have a topic that you'd like to see in a future edition, please comment, let us know what that is, and we'll try to arrange it for a future live chat. So once again, I'm Morgan Delac. Thank you so much for joining us today. We had a great time, a great conversation. We appreciate the interaction with our fans on Facebook, and we appreciate the discussion with our classroom teachers and our administrators. So we hope to see you again next time, and have a great day.